Sunday Ticket is brought to you by Expedia.com. Don't just travel, travel right.
Welcome back to Arrowhead in Kansas City. 27-20 with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Great game. We expected this, and that's exactly what we've gotten so far.
Well, we've seen about 300 yards in special teams and return yardage and everything else between interception returns and kickoff returns. What we haven't seen a whole lot of is consistent offense. Pittsburgh's been very halting, not much of a running game, very sporadic passing. Kansas City's been about Eddie Kennison catching the ball and Priest Holmes. Got to see a lot more of Priest Holmes and some of the other players for Kansas City, and got to see a lot more of Hines Ward and some of the other skill players for Pittsburgh.
And it begins with, of course, Tommy Maddox, their quarterback. Let's take a look at some of the Steeler numbers on offense, some things that are standing up. 12 of 21. That interception was for a touchdown.
Right, and both quarterbacks have one for the other guys. And Jerome Bettis, not much in the way of yards. Hines Ward, 50 of those yards were on one play. So that's why I say I'm looking for more offense. We went away from the first half. I mentioned that we had seen some excellent defense, and I really think at times we have seen some excellent defense by both sides. We have just seen those explosive plays we talked about in the first half. Big plays for both offenses, big explosive plays for both special teams, and we've seen all the turnovers we talked about also.
There's Hank Stram, who was inducted into Pro Football's Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. There's Morton Anderson, who was his kicker in New Orleans when Stram left Kansas City and went to the Saints. And moments ago, they gave him his Hall of Fame ring.
I'll tell you, a guy sitting up in New York right now with some special feelings is Jim Nantz.
Yes.
Very, very close to the entire Stram family. Worked with Hank Stram for years. That's not only the Hall of Fame induction, but also this halftime here in Kansas City has got to be very special for Jim Nantz after all the years he spent with Hank Stram.
Wife Phyllis there in the yellow. Wonderful day for the Chiefs organization and Hank Stram. We saw Bobby Bell and Willie Lanier, Len Dawson, Hall of Famers, all of them. So here we go to start the second half in Kansas City, a place which has seen some pretty good players over the years, as has Pittsburgh. Second half is underway. Antoine Randall will let Ike Taylor take this one out. And Taylor is grabbed and brought down by Gary Stills. 27-yard return. And they kind of get a little tangled up there with Shenard Hartz and Antoine Randall. Taylor returns it. So the Steelers will take it for the first time. And through 30 minutes of football, here are some of the numbers.
I tell you, just alone, we talk about how crazy this game's been. The turnovers and the returns for touchdowns, 3 in one half, much less 3 in one game, is extraordinary.
Base defense for the Chiefs. Zeroaway in the backfield for Pittsburgh with Kreider. It's a handoff to Amos Zeroaway. Hit once, brought down by Wesley. Also whacked outside by Hicks. A loss of 6 on the play, and Barber comes off the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, I'm not sure if running the perimeters and some of these non-quick hitting plays is the way you want to attack Kansas City, or the way you want to get this offensive line for Pittsburgh that doesn't have much time together really going. You're a lot better off with quick hitting plays. Not only are they better for the offensive line run-wise, they set up the play-action pass a lot better.
Second down and 16. Zeroaway 5 carries, no yards. They're at the 18-yard line. It's Maddox outside. Hines Ward dancing with Warfield and brought down at about the 26-yard line. Gain of 8.
Right? Anytime you see the quarterback holding the ball this long as Tommy Maddox held it on this play, you have excellent coverage down the field, good late rush right at the very end, getting that contact in on Tommy Maddox. That's not an offensive line problem. That's more a receiver coverage problem down the field. Everything in this offense is usually predicated on being much quicker, much more rhythmic. Kansas City's defense got this offense out of rhythm.
The Chiefs have 5 defensive backs. Doring is in the game for Maddox. 3rd down and 8. Brought down, the first sack today by Kansas City, and it's authored by Ryan Sims. That's Ryan Sims' first career sack. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have got a punt.
Well, you know, you've got a jailbreak where somebody just comes wide open. Then you have just sort of a mudslide. This pocket just collapses and is crushed by a sea of red mud. The Kansas City defense collapses the pocket, led by Ryan Sims, right on top of Tommy Maddox.
Miller will punt.
Let him go, let him go,
And Dante Hall will get it, 48-yard line. Here he goes, flying down the sideline with the kicker to beat. What a block by Omar Easy. He's inside the 10. And the kicker is down. Josh Miller. A 45-yard return by the electrifying Dante Hall.
Sometimes you got to take your offense where you can get it. And in this case, offense is coming from big plays from the defense and special teams returns. And Josh Miller took one heck of a shot on that return.
Josh Miller is down. Dante Hall has done it again, and the Chiefs in outstanding scoring position.
Josh Miller is up. He's fine. He's walked off the field. Take a look at that left ankle right here as Omar Easy comes in, number 43. Just pivots him and knocks him down. Not much of a blow, but just enough to twist that left leg.
Bo Richter is in, 2 tight ends. First and goal from the 7. He sends Holmes out of the backfield. Richardson remains. Tony Richardson bouncing outside. Grabbed by Logan, a gain of 3, 2nd down and goal.
Now we talk about the Pittsburgh offensive line that hasn't been together very long, and that's a fact. I'll tell you another fact in this game. The Kansas City offensive line has got some serious studs up front. You go across the front with Willie Rolfe, Brian Waters, Casey Wegman, Will Shields, John Tate. There is some beef. The old where's the beef? The beef wearing red right up there in the offense.
2nd and goal at the 4. Holmes in the backfield of the pitch. Tate and Shields and Richardson blocking. It's a touchdown. A 4-yard touchdown run, the second today by Priest Holmes. Got a block by Richardson. And Tate on that right side.
Well, you want to talk about some Pro Bowls. There's eight Pro Bowls there, and there's not one in the future, and there's another one right there, Will Shields. Watch those 3 guys. Backside block cut off. Kendrell Bell is slowed down, and Brian Waters puts a nice little musher on him, and Will Shields gets a great block in the end zone.
Morton Anderson will try the extra point. He has missed an extra point today, the first miss since the 2001 season. Great punt return by Dante Hall. Set this up of 45 yards. And the Kansas City Chiefs have caused that look on Pittsburgh coach Bill Cowher. Chiefs up 34-20.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Wachovia Securities. Together, we can achieve uncommon results. Staples, everything you need for back to school. Staples, that was easy. And by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
Priest Holmes has a couple of rushing touchdowns today. Dante Hall, though, has stolen the headlines. A 100-yard kickoff return. A punt return seconds ago of 45 yards. 218 total on the day. He has been terrific. And now the ensuing kickoff by Kansas City's Jason Baker. Antoine Randall, he can return the kick himself about a yard deep in the end zone. Bo Richter closed off the gap, and then he kind of falls down as Billy Baber is there. A 27-yard return. Monday on The Late Show, Dave Letterman welcomes actor Colin Farrell. Later this week, don't miss Kate Hudson and Chris Rock. It's The Late Show with David Letterman, celebrating 10 great years on CBS. With Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Chiefs were down 17-7. Where they come back?
You know, Kevin, normally with Pittsburgh, you'd say down 14, serious problem. If you're a Chiefs fan right now, don't rest on anything. 14 points is nothing for Tommy Maddox.
And Missouri in the backfield, 1st and 10. Maddox from the 25. Zero-away with the Kreider lead block. And stood up by Wesley and brought down 32-33 line. Also over there, Fujita, gain of 7 on the play.
You know, something to look at down the line here with Tommy Maddox, what we've seen so far of this Pittsburgh offense. I'm talking about them coming back. On first downs, Tommy Maddox is 6 of 7 for 120 yards and a touchdown. On the other downs, he's 7 of 15, so less than 50% for only 60 yards, 1 interception, and that was for a touchdown.
Defensively, Maslowski is out, Hurts is in. Nickel defense for the Chiefs. Second long 2. Market at the 34. Zero-away, brought down by Woods, who has an interception for a touchdown himself today. The ball kicked out, and did you hear a whistle? I didn't hear a whistle. I heard no whistle.
Pointing at the ground.
He landed on bodies and did not hit the ground, but now you hear the whistles. See what Larry Nemmers tells us.
Forward progress was ruled short of the line. Third down.
And there's about 80,000 people going, okay, forward progress. How about possession? We had the ball.
Yeah.
Look, he's on top.
He's not on bodies.
Yeah, but
I mean, he is on bodies, he's not on the ground.
It's forward progress. And that's just as liable as it is touching your knee down and contact and everything else. Forward progress. Once that's ruled stop, the play is over.
Base defense for the Chiefs. Kreider's a receiver. Look at them. They got 5 receivers out there on 3rd and inches. That's caught. Downfield. Plexico Burris tumbling to the 47. Picks up 18 on the play. Working on McLeon.
What did I just say about the new Pittsburgh offense in the last couple of years? How often would you have seen Pittsburgh going empty on 3rd and inches in the past? Over the last year and a half with Tommy Maddox, that's just standard operational procedure.
Base defense for the Chiefs. All kinds of receiving help in there for Tommy Maddox, including Antoine Randall. Zero in the backfield, 1st and 10 from the 47. Maddox again, caught by the slippery Hines Ward. He's to the 39. 8-yard pickup on the play, and the tackle was made by Maslowski and Fujita.
Well, Plexico Burris kind of limped off after that last reception on 3rd and short, but now he's back into the ball game. And if I'm Kansas City again, make sure number 80 isn't the one that's going to beat you here.
You mentioned some Sam Weiss. Here's a no huddle right now for Pittsburgh on 2nd and 1.
Empty backfield again.
On the 39. Maddox, Antoine Randall smelled out beautifully on the play by Wesley. It's a gain of 3. He's to the 36-yard line.
But it's a first down.
Right.
You know, you can run it for 3 or you can throw it for 3. That's the philosophy of these offenses. I was the one that got criticized all the time for being finesse because we passed the ball for first downs.
True Luck takes the place of Vonnie Holliday. 4 defensive backs. It is a first down. Pittsburgh at the Kansas City 36. Zero-away in the backfield. Antoine Randall in the slot. Here they come at Maddox. Getting through and brought down. A sack. And it's Ryan Sims, his 2nd today. His 2nd of his career. And he pushes Maddox back to about the 37-yard line.
Well, that's not only just a nice job up front, because, again, we had that red mudslide collapsing on Tommy Maddox. It's an excellent job by Greg Robinson's defensive backfield. Look at Randall L. being dealt with. That's how a safety Wellesley should deal with a receiver who comes into his area. Is it legal? Is it down the field? Yeah, well, I don't know.
Sims on there with Brown, Trulock, and Hicks. There are 5 defensive backs. It's 2nd and 11, 37-yard line. The fake to Zero-away. Maddox buys time, has to get to the 25. It's his wide receiver, Hines Ward, whose momentum takes him out of bounds. At the 16-yard line, it's a gain of 21, and now the rhythm coming back for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense.
And that's why I mentioned at the beginning of this possession, 14 points. When you're ahead of this offense by 14 points, all that is a goal. For most offenses, that's an obstacle. It's just sort of a short-term goal for these guys. They can score 14 points on you in a burp.
Hines Ward has caught 7 Maddox passes today for 118 yards, including a 50-yarder. It's 1st and 10, 16-yard line. Reamer's on the move. Base defense for the Chiefs. Maddox outside, caught by Kreider, belted by McLeon, and forced out of bounds near the 14-yard line by both Barber and Maslowski. It's a gain of 1, 2nd down and 9.
I talked about this receiver group being the best receiving group in the NFL. Well, one thing they also do very well is block. Hines Ward will get down the field and look for somebody to earhole. If you're a defensive player, you have got to keep the tail light burning around 86. And defensive backs all over the league know about this guy's act. They never get caught by surprise until game day.
Eric Downing on the defensive line. 2nd down and 9. 15-yard line. 0 smothered. He submarines his way into the grasp of Woods. And also Eric Downing. It's a gain on the play of 3. That'll set up 3rd down and about 6.
You know, how counter to a lot of common thinking does this go? 2nd and long during base. 3rd and 3. It comes into 5 wide receivers. You are spreading it out and saying, we're going to throw the ball. Come stop us. Watch Burris, top of the screen.
3rd down and 6. 5 defensive backs for the Chiefs. Haynes in the backfield. Antoine Randall on the swap near side. Maddox, here they come, and there he goes. Caught by Ward. Fighting his way to the 5 and knocked down. He's got a 1st down with his forward progress. He was hit by Wesley and Hartz. It's a gain of 8 on 3rd down and 6, and it's 1st and goal for Cowher's offense.
I really like the way Mike Malarkey is clearing things out. He's got Burris going up top long and then dragging Hines Ward underneath. Hines Ward tried to make something happen, but that's the definition of gang tackling there, led by Chenard Hartz.
Downing back on the defensive line with Stills for Kansas City. They've got Zaraway and Kreider in the eye. Pittsburgh's offense does. Maddox has hit 8 straight. 1st and goal from the 4. Zaraway tripped up by Woods, keeps his balance, and then is belted by Wesley and by Barber, and it's a loss of 1 on the play. 2nd down and goal.
Well, these Kansas City Chiefs fans really suffered with this defense here in Kansas City last year, but along with the defensive players, they've just got to be thrilled to death to see Jerome Woods, number 21, back in a Chiefs uniform, because he has been a headache for Tommy Maddox in this offense, penetrating in the backfield on runs, picking off balls and returning them for touchdowns.
Jerome Bettis is in. 4 defensive backs for the Chiefs. 2nd down goal at the 5. 12th play of the Pittsburgh drive. The fake to Bettis into the end zone. And almost intercepted. Bobbled. Maslowski almost had it. It's incomplete. Warfield almost got it on the carom. It'll be 3rd and goal for the Steelers.
They're throwing the lob to the little guy. Hines Ward. You got a 6'5" receiver in Plexico Burris.
And 6'5" Jay Reamersma.
6'5" Jay Reamersma. And you're throwing it to the ex-Georgia Bulldog, Hines Ward, who was the original college slash when he came to Pittsburgh. At Georgia, he played running back, wide receiver, and quarterback. And Maslowski has the hands of a linebacker.
5 defensive backs. 3rd and goal at the 5. Veron Haynes in the backfield. Wingback slot man is Antoine Randall. Rushes on, intercepted on the play. It's picked off by Barber, who's caught from behind by Burris. And Tommy Maddox has thrown his 2nd interception today, and it couldn't have come at a worse time.
What's the difference between this defense from last year and this year? How about those impact plays, Dick Vermeil?
Lemonade Mister.
Well, here's Barber, and watch Maddox. He's concentrating over here. I don't think he ever really sees Barber. That color red, how do you miss it?
2 tight ends. Bo Richter is in. 1st and 10 outside. And forced out of bounds by Scott. Tony Gonzalez, a gain of 4, and that is his 1st reception today. Sundays this fall on CBS. Catherine Morris stars in the next great crime drama from CSI. Executive producer Jerry Bruckheimer. Don't miss the premiere of Cold Case 2 weeks from tonight. It's a beauty right here on CBS following 60 Minutes. 2nd down and 6. Holmes in the backfield from the 30. And Priest Holmes was knocked down by Higgins, who came and knocked Holmes off his horse after a gain of 5. Busy day in the NFL. Let's go back to our studios in New York with Jim Nantz.
Yeah, thank you. Busy indeed, Kevin. The Jets have finally found the end zone. Vinny Testaverde with their longest play of the season. He hooks up with Santana Moss. They have 12 minutes remaining. 21-10 Miami. Let's go back to Pittsburgh, Kansas City.
Thank you, Jim. That Miami loss last week to Houston was a stunner.
Talk about being publicly embarrassed. You didn't go out to dinner if you're a Dolphin high school.
3rd and 1. And Holmes crawls for a first down. He was tackled by Washington. He's out to the 38-yard line. The Chiefs move the chains.
You've just seen what Dick Vermeil's offense needs to do right here in this possession and everyone from here on out. Can you take chances and throw the ball? Oh yeah, you can. But what you want to do is you want to feature Priest Holmes, feature one of the best players in the entire NFL, and just keep these chains moving and get as much of this clock off as you can.
You see the last 3 possessions. 2 fullbacks in, Omar, Easy, and Richardson. It is 1st and 10, 38-yard line. The outside, Johnny Morton twisting for the catch. Close to a first down, covered by Dwayne Washington, gain of 9 on the play. It'll be a 2nd down and 1. When we come back from New York, where we go right now to our studios in Jim Nantz.
All right, Kevin, you guys were talking about that stunning Texan upset over the Dolphins last week. They've been hanging tough down in New Orleans, but the Saints are back in front as Dante Stallworth gets the pass from Aaron Brooks. 14-10 Saints midway through the 3rd. Back to Kevin and Randy.
Thank you, Jim. How about Aaron Brooks last week? 29 completions in that game against Seattle. 2nd down and 1 from the 47. Holmes back in the game. And falls ahead with not much there. Looks like Aaron Smith got him. So it'll be Jim Nantz, 3rd and 1. Where are you going to take us now? Let's go to New York and Jim.
All right, we got an update with the Buffalo Bills down in Jacksonville. And Bledsoe right here has all the time he needs. A streaking Eric Moulds. Yes, touchdown. 28-10 Buffalo. 3 minutes to go in the 3rd. Back to Kevin and Randy.
Hey, you know, Jim, last week everybody wanted to talk about that Buffalo defense. It was all Buffalo offense scoring all those points against the Patriots while the defense threw a shutout.
Richter is in, 3rd and 1. Priest Holmes stood up and brought down, nailed by Kendrell Bell. Hit by Clark Higgins. He did not get the first down. A good stand by Pittsburgh after the Chiefs just intercepted Maddox in the red zone, and now Pittsburgh will get the ball back.
Well, that's like I just got done saying. You feature Priest Holmes if you're Dick Vermeil, and you bang him away, and you get your first downs and run off clock. And the Pittsburgh Steelers and their coordinator Tim Lewis figured about the exact same thing and managed to stop both of them.
Baker to punt. And Antoine Randall back at the 15-yard line. Take a breather. Baker gets off a rocket, and Antoine Randall will let it bounce him back to him as it ricochets into the end zone. That was a 54-yard bomb placed up there by Baker. Steelers get it back when we come back to Arrowhead.
September 27th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM, official information technology partner of the NFL, and by FedEx. You can always rely on the ultimate in reliable shipping. Relax, it's FedEx.
Kansas City has gotten a 45-yard punt return by Hall, which set up a touchdown. Dante Hall also returned a kickoff, 100 yards. Green, 2 interceptions, and 1 touchdown pass. Priest Holmes, 2 touchdown runs. Jerome Woods, an interception off Maddox for a touchdown. Maddox has thrown 2 picks today and a touchdown pass. It's a handoff. And wheeling his way for a gain of 5 up to the 25-yard line was Hines Ward.
It was a Tommy Maddox-less huddle.
Yeah.
They run that quite often. That's one thing you've got to be very careful of in your defense is counting bodies. You know, you have to have 11 people in the huddle. And, you know, normally if you're going to be ahead by this many points, you got to have a lot of offensive yards unless you have 273 yards in special teams returns.
Zero way back there right now. 2nd down and 5. 25-yard line. Kreider is the fullback. Hines Ward is on the fly. Base defense for the Chiefs. Mannix going deep down the middle and nobody home. They had 3 Kansas City red-shirted defenders right around Burris. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Burris has a touchdown pass today as well.
Well, I want to tell you, Tommy Maddox is very lucky. This was not an interception. Warfield got a little tug on Burris's shirt, but you know, look at the triumvirate there about to meet Burris. And
Chiefs have put in an extra defensive back. They've got 5 defensive backs. Hicks, Sims, Holiday, and Truelock on the defensive line. 3rd and 5. Veron Hayes in the backfield with Maddox. A quick fire right across the middle, caught by Antoine Randall. 32-yard line. Gain is 7. On 3rd and 5, he gets it. And it's a 1st down for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, that's more of a Tommy Maddox Pittsburgh Steelers offensive play. That's the kind of play that they need, the quick hitting, quick reading thing for Bill Cowher's football team to start getting into that rhythm you talked about that Kansas City had going there for a while. The same rhythm they had moving down the field here before that last critical interception by Barber in the end zone.
Base defense for the Chiefs. 0 way back in the game, 1st and 10. Maddox, Amos Haraway. Brought by Maslowski and whipped down at the 36-yard line with a gain of 4. That takes us to the end of the 3rd quarter. We've had fireworks in this game. Defensive touchdowns, special teams touchdowns at the end of 3. It's the Chiefs on top, 34-20. This is the NFL on CBS. Kansas City Chiefs are attempting to start the season 2-0 for the first time since '96 with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. We start the 4th quarter. It is 2nd down and 5. Zerway in the backfield from the 37-yard line. And Maddox hit and brought down by Stills. His 3rd career sack and the 3rd sack today by the Kansas City defense.
Okay, I'm going to start throwing the ball a lot faster if I'm Pittsburgh because long term they can't protect. Stills goes in there, and Todd Ford on the right tackle, who he beat for that sack, was complaining about a headbutt on his quarterback. That was just a good, clean defensive play.
That's Bill Cowher got up his sleeve here on 3rd down and 11. Veron Hayes is in, nickel defense for the Chiefs. 30-yard line. Maddox winding and throws. Incomplete. Plexico Burris in his sights. Coverage by Wesley, and the Steelers have got a punt.
Yeah, there's a specific part of the field right back here by the logo. Concentrate on that. Watch Burris at the top. This sort of stops the pattern, but there's 4 Chiefs around the ball. Last 2 possessions, we've seen a lot of single receiver accompanied by a lot of defenders.
And Josh Miller is out there after getting roughed up the last time he punted. Sends this one downfield to Dante Hall. Walking up to about the 15-yard line. Wrapped up far side. Hit by Veron Hayes. In the second half, the Pittsburgh Steelers have had it 3 times, 2 punts and an interception, and they're down by 2 touchdowns, 34-20.
Hey, Felix.
Priest Holmes with a couple rushing touchdowns. Trent Green has thrown a touchdown pass. Dante Hall's returned to kickoff for a touchdown. 34-20 the Chiefs. 24-yard line. That's the play selection this half.
2 passes. I think the percentage or the ratio holds up for Kansas City. Run some time off the clock, but an empty backfield again.
All those receivers, 24-yard line. Dante Hall trying to slash inside and crawls past the 25. Hit by Jason Gilden. Gain of 2. 2nd down and 8. Next Saturday, the conference race gets going for real. It's big-time doubleheader action. First, Casey Clauston and the Tennessee Volunteers will take on Deshaun Wynn and the Florida Gators. And David Green sweats the Georgia Bulldogs against the LSU Tigers. That's next week on CBS College Football.
How about them dogs? They put a whipping on Lou Holtz's South Carolina football team. Whoop.
2nd down and 8. Holmes back in the backfield. And he gets the call. Blocked by Richardson. Brought down is Holmes by Logan a loss of a yard on the play. Today, Priest Holmes 21 carries and 88 yards. How would you run your offense now if you're the Chiefs leading by 2 TDs and approaching 13 to play in the game?
Yeah, I expect them to be very conservative like they're doing. You know, it's sort of dancing with what brought you. You know, and Dick Vermeil, for all the wide open craziness in St. Louis and the wide open craziness he has here in Kansas City, he knows time off the clock is important against an offense like Pittsburgh.
3rd and 9, 2 tight ends, and he throws caught. Johnny Morton scoops it up at the 39-yard line. It's a gain of 14 on 3rd and 9. Linebacker was working on him, and a player is down for the Steelers. And that's Mike Logan, the safety, back at the 20-yard line. So with an injury timeout at Arrowhead Stadium, it's Mike Logan of the Steelers. We'll be back after this.
Hi, well.
Second.
Logan walked off under his own power for Jackals today, and his replacement is the rookie out of USC, Troy Polamalu. It is a first down, base defense for the Steelers, 40-yard line for Kansas City. And Green going deep, looking for Pearson, held horribly by Scott. Oh my gosh!
I thought he was held rather well.
It was like Santa holding the reins of his reindeer. It was brutal. And Scott was nailed last week for the same call against the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, it's a matter of you're going to let him run free down the field. You grab him and push him down. Get your money.
Defensive pass here. Number 30. Spot foul. Automatic. First down.
Right here at the bottom of the field. Bottom of the screen. And the problem happens about the 50. The problem would be the fake and the separation. And then the arm wrap and the pull down by Chad Scott.
Mike Logan has come back in the game. See the penalty on Scott. There's Logan. Polamalu has gone to the side. 15-yard penalty. 1st and 10 for the Chiefs. Empty backfield for Trent Green. Bo Richter on the fly. Green looking for Bo Richter. Then he goes underneath and he hits Maddox. Or rather, he hits Morton, who was tackled on the play by Washington. It's a gain of 13 yards. It's to the 32-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another Kansas City first down. And now for NFL.com poll, down by a touchdown with 2 minutes left. Which of these active quarterbacks would you want in the huddle? Cast your vote on NFL.com.
I'd be kind of torn between this one here and this one.
Yep.
Brett Favre and Rich Gannon.
Good choices. Base defense, Holmes in the backfield. 1st and 10, 32-yard line of Pittsburgh. Priest Holmes, grabbed by Aaron Smith, and inhaled at about the 33. It was a gain of about a yard, maybe a half yard, 2nd down and long.
Now, I'm impressed with Al Saunders, the offensive coordinator here for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, Dick Vermeil wants time off the clock. I keep talking about running the ball and getting Holmes and time off the clock. Pittsburgh's doing a very nice job. You know, he's only 11 yards rushing here in the 2nd half. There's Al Saunders, but they've sort of decided, look, the heck, we're just running the ball. Let's throw the ball, keep him in bounds, and then we'll keep running the clock.
2 tight ends. 3rd down, make it 2nd down and 9. Richardson in the backfield. This is Bo Richter on the fly. 4 defensive backs. Green hit Casey Hampton. Lassos him at about the 32-yard line. That is a sack. And the first by Casey Hampton.
Yeah, my favorite description of Casey Hampton from one of his teammates says, you know, he has arms like legs and legs like people. When you're 6'6", and about 330 pounds, each leg is just about a 9th grader.
Five defensive backs now in for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3rd down and 10. 32-yard line. Dante Hall in the game and on the move, and a little screen pass set up to Priest Holmes. There's a block by Shields. The flag is down, and
that was a hold by Shields, actually.
Yes. Washington makes the stop eventually at about the 19-yard line on the fleet-footed Holmes, and it is against Kansas City after that 13-yard gain is wiped away.
You know, it happens to receivers all the time, getting out there in open air and blocking and in front of God and country. You hold somebody,
Holding,
they'll see it.
Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
That's the first penalty of this half against Kansas City.
Left side of your screen right there, Casey Wegman. And then Will Shields kind of gets a little, well, the flag's been thrown. Why don't I clip Jason Gilden?
One thing that did is take Kansas City out of field goal range, too, so it pushes them back to the...
Well, temporarily.
The back of the ball's on the 43, so it's the 43 of Pittsburgh. It's 3rd and 20. Richardson in the backfield, nickel defense for the Steelers. Green with the block from Rowe, goes underneath, and it's caught by Tony Gonzalez, his second grab today. Washington on the tackle, 38-yard line, gain of 4. And that penalty was enough that Kansas City now has got to punt the ball.
Well, it was an excellent job up front of pass protection, enabling Trent Green to stand there. But the reason you settle for a 3-yard little crossing pattern to your tight end is down the field, the defensive back had everybody covered.
Jason Baker to punt, and Antoine Randall back at the 10-yard line for Pittsburgh. And the Gannon snap. And Randall lets it bounce. Volleyball try. Almost by Corey Harris, who was cut at the end of camp and signed this week and just about saved the ball. 38-yard punt. We got a timeout in Kansas City.
Tuesday.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Circuit City. We're with you. MGM's Out of Time, starring Denzel Washington. And by 1010-987. A rate so low never went so far. 1010-987.
Chiefs scored 20 unanswered points at one time. They lead at 34-20 with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan, 1st and 10, 20-yard line. And the quarterback is Tommy Maddox. He's got Zeroué in the backfield. And Amos Zeroué stretching his way. Breaks by Wesley and tackled in the secondary by Warfield and Shenard Hartz. Chiefs are playing the nickel now. Gain of 15 and a 1st down.
Well, is that the good news or the bad news?
You tell me.
Are they in the nickel on 1st down? I mean, you stopped them effectively in your base defense. I got to think, kind of like the offense decided to just sort of go back to what they were good at to start making 1st downs. The defense should stay with what's been working.
Zeroué in the backfield. The nickel remains. 35-yard line. 1st and 10. No huddle offense for the Steelers. Zeroué again. And from behind, he cannot be caught by Barber. He runs on the side and stiff arms his way into McLean. It's another big chunky yards to the 43. Picking up 22 on the fly. Another 1st down for the Steelers.
Well, you know, time of possession in this second half is in the favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The problem is the one long drive they had in the 3rd quarter, they finished it off with an interception by Sean Barber near the goal line. Tommy Maddox right now still almost perfect on 1st down, 9 of 10 passing.
Zeroué remains. Antoine Randall, the 3rd receiver. Now he's got time. Here comes Browning to pass. Almost intercepted through the hands. It trickles through Hines Ward's grasp. And it is incomplete. Barber was there on the coverage. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Maddox today has thrown 2 interceptions, including 1 in the red zone.
Randall L. up in the top of the screen. Was that the lonely receiver?
Yep.
The lonely end. Randall L., the former quarterback out of Indiana. Talk about a guy that knows when he's wide open.
Tulip, Browning, Sims on that defensive line along with Hicks. Veron Hayes in the backfield for Pittsburgh. 2nd down and 10. 43-yard line. It goes to Haynes. Down the block. Trying to crawl his way for a 1st down. He was hit by Barber and by Woods, and the ball is loose. They say, was it a fumble? There have been 2 Pittsburgh turnovers today.
Yes.
And it is the 3rd Steeler turnover. 2 have come in Kansas City territory. 1 in the red zone.
You hate to use the dreaded bend but don't break defense. Pittsburgh offense has moved the ball in the second half. Kansas City won't break.
CBS Tonight.
Ron Haynes fumbled at the Pittsburgh 2 against the Ravens of Baltimore last week. He fumbles here. It's the third turnover by the Steelers today.
We'll talk about a big defensive presence. Jerome Woods missing last year. Interception for a touchdown, a forced fumble right there, a recovered fumble right there. Multiple goal line big plays and a lot of regular tackles. Well, they're glad he's back here in Kansas City.
Holmes in the backfield from the 37. Here's the handoff to Priest Holmes on 1st and 10. Grabbed by Gilden. And then finished off on the near side by Kimo van Olhoffen. About a 3.5-yard gain. 2nd down. See why CBS Monday is America's best night of television, starting with Yesteryear, followed by Still Standing, Everybody Loves Raymond, and CSI Miami, plus The Late Show with David Letterman after your local news. It's Monday here on CBS, America's most watched network. 2nd down and 6 from the 40. Base defense for the Steelers.
Pittsburgh needs a turnover here in the worst way.
Blaylock in a slot, empty backfield for Green. Outside to Blaylock, has the 1st down, breaking a tackle of Kendrell Bell, then ridden down the sideline. They say he was knocked out of bounds. Upfield, a 19-yard pickup. They'll spot him at about the 40-yard line after not a single Steeler could bring him down for the first 15 yards of that play.
Well, just think, this is the guy that's giving Priest Holmes a blow. Remember Priest Holmes came here as a free agent from Baltimore. Blaylock just comes in and out of the game on a regular basis. Subbing Priest Holmes brings a great change of pace. It's like quick and quicker.
Trent Green, 7 of 7 this half. Gunn in motion. He caught a touchdown pass earlier. Holmes on 1st and 10. Boy, he was doused quickly. They had Bell there and Aaron Smith. Loss of a yard. 2nd down 11.
Remember the questions at the beginning of the game. What kind of a football team do we have here in Kansas City? What kind of a football team do we have on the other side of the field in Pittsburgh? And Bill Cowher made the point that teams aren't really their true identity at this time of the season. And his team, goodness knows, made enough mistakes on offense and defense and special teams to be beaten. But Kansas City, the early grade for them has got to be pretty strong for what they've done so far today and last week.
42-yard line, 2nd down 11, empty backfield again for Green. And this time he goes to Kennison, who steps right in front of the defender Logan, close to a 1st down as he wheels his way to the 30-yard line. Washington was there with the stop.
And I'll mention again, are you going to be just a running team? No. Kansas City's not just a running team. What Kansas City does is they give you Priest Holmes, and then they spread the ball around. And they keep the man in bounds, so the clock keeps running.
Is it the most complex offense in the NFL?
I think both these offenses, Pittsburgh and Kansas City, are up near the top.
31-yard line. 3rd down. Holmes has the 1st. He's in open field. Logan to beat. And he's got his 3rd rushing touchdown today. A 31-yard romp by number 31, and he's over 100 yards. Three rushing touchdowns today, 2 last week. That's 5 on the season. And Priest Holmes is back and better than ever.
Remember, against the vaunted Pittsburgh Steelers defense, Priest Holmes now is the possessor of 4 100-yard games as a running back.
3 of those with Baltimore, make it 2 with Baltimore, and now 2 with Kansas City. Morton Anderson. He's something else, isn't he?
Well, TeamPriest.com, he's awful proud of his foundation. They're going to get a lot of hits on the site today.
26th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Coca-Cola. Let's make it real. And by Nextel Direct Connect walkie-talkie. Connect instantly from coast to coast.
Priest Holmes, 3 rushing touchdowns today. Another 100-yard rushing game. Trent Green is on a touchdown pass. Dante Hall, 100-yard kickoff return. Woods, an interception of Tommy Maddox for a touchdown. It's been all Kansas City, 41-20 over Pittsburgh.
And if you drafted Priest Holmes on your fantasy team, you are ecstatic about the first 2 weeks of the season.
This is Antoine Randall from about the 1-yard line for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tried to hurdle a defender when he got airborne. He was brought down by Fred Jones. The Chiefs have scored 13 points off of 3 Pittsburgh turnovers today. That was a 24-yard return, and the Steelers will get it back with 5 to play.
If you'll think earlier in the game, I was talking about that pursuit backside by the Pittsburgh's defense. Watch the crease. The pursuit breaks down. No linebacker, no lineman. Quick decision by Priest Holmes. You've only got to hesitate for a second making your decision as a defender, and Priest Holmes will make you pay to the tune of 33 yards and a touchdown.
Nickel secondary. Maddox is deployed, 4 receivers with Zeroué in the backfield, 1st and 10. 25, and he looks for Burris, who shoves off McLeon. No yellow on the field, and stiff arms his way to the 49. McLeon there at the stop, and on the play, a gain of 23 yards.
You know you've arrived as an NFL receiver, and Plaxico Burris struggled a little bit as a rookie and had a pretty good year last year or so, and now you know you've gotten into that, hey, I'm an elite receiver, when an official on a regular basis will allow you to push off like that.
Burris, Ward, Randall, and Chris Doring are the receivers. 49-yard line, 1st and 10 for Maddox. And it's Doring, his 2nd catch today, grabbed by Warfield to the Kansas City 47-yard line, picking up 4. 2nd down. Jamal Lewis of Baltimore, 280 yards rushing. Did you see that?
Well, remember, last 2 games, he's had over 300 yards against the Cleveland Browns. Great call by Boomer Esiason on the pregame show, talking about him being the only one to pick them in that game.
2nd and 6. Hines Ward gets the pass near the 26-yard line. Belted on the play by Wesley. Gain of 20 yards. 3 timeouts remaining apiece. Clock approaching 4 to play. They leave Zeroué in. Nickel defense remains in for Kansas City. On their line, Truelock, Browning, Sims with 2 sacks today, and Stills, he has a sack as well. Maddox going deep, looking for Doring in the end zone. Coverage on the play by Warfield. Incomplete. Let me ask you something. With the new pass rush and the speed of the linebackers, a guy like Warfield, how many extra steps or how much time is he picking up on his coverage that is there this year that was not there last year?
Well, if you're getting pressure from your defensive line, Warfield has to cover a few steps less, not more, because the key is getting the ball out. And we've seen innumerable times today, Tommy Maddox, the longer the ball is in the quarterback's hand, the more the advantage goes to the defense. This is a rhythm, quick passing offense. If you get them out of that rhythm, you can have the success that this Kansas City defense has had today.
2nd and 10 from the 26. Hines Ward is open. Caught it with one hand, but was he in bounds? Out of bounds he was. A great reception, but did not get both feet down. Warfield on the coverage. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, that old saying, sometimes you eat the bear and sometimes the bear eats you. This Pittsburgh offense came up here with many aspirations offensively against this defense, and so far the bear has been munching on Steeler.
3rd down and 10. Pittsburgh Steelers at the 26-yard line. Maddox has thrown a couple of interceptions today. Hit as he throws this, and it goes wobbling incomplete. Vonnie Holliday was there. He had 3 sacks last week, but he's been fairly quiet today, except for that play right there, pressuring Maddox. Now it's 4th and 10.
What kind of a difference does pressure make? It's just that little extra time you don't have. John Browning got in there and actually hit the right arm of Tommy Maddox, and he got up shaking that thing. But that's the difference. If you're a DB, you talked about Warfield. You stay with him. You know the ball's going to be up in the air if your defense gets the right pressure.
Priest Holmes, 3 rushing touchdowns. Green, a touchdown pass. Defensive touchdown for the Chiefs and an interception. 100-yard kickoff return by Dante Hall. 4th down and 10. Timeout taken by Pittsburgh. That's the first they burn in the second half. And a flag is thrown in the secondary. I think they called the timeout before the penalty.
Actually, the flag was thrown after. I mean, before.
Delay a game. Pittsburgh.
Wow.
5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Pittsburgh today, Tommy Maddox has thrown a touchdown pass to Plexico Burress. Maddox has been picked off a couple times. Trent Green threw an interception early in the game that Chad Scott returned for a touchdown, and Pittsburgh initially led 17-7.
It was Antoine Randall, the old quarterback, trying to take over when he saw the play clock there, but too late.
Okay, so a timeout does not come off the board for Pittsburgh. 4th and 15. They need the 16-yard line. Zero in, Doring in the backfield. Maddox with time and down the middle, almost intercepted, and is on the ricochet. It's Warfield. He was tripped up by Ford on the right tackle. That is the 4th Pittsburgh turnover, and Maddox has thrown 3 interceptions.
I'll tell you one guy you got to feel happy for is right there. Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. For the last couple of years, he's just gotten barbecued here in Kansas City about his play calling, about his defense in general. Everyone talked here in Kansas City about a renewed defensive presence and a renewed defensive attitude. And Greg Robinson and his defense have proven to at least Bill Cowher and the Steelers that they don't have the same old easy pushover they had at Arrowhead the last couple of years.
Speaking of easy, Omar Easy's in the backfield with Richardson, 1st and 10. And Tony Richardson. Brought down by Hampton and also by Polamalu. Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. This week on CBS Survivor Thursday. The new castaways think they have time to prepare for the game, but they're throwing them off the boat with just the clothes on their backs. It's the wildest Survivor yet. Don't miss the 90-minute premiere. Survivor, Pearl Island, this Thursday on CBS.
You think they asked them all before they signed them up if they could swim?
I hope.
Was that part of it?
I'll tell you what,
it's premiere week.
Yep, Pittsburgh has not been swimming. They've been sinking fast. 2nd down and 4. Richardson again, sent up the middle. Grabbed by Bell. Higgins. And by Kimo von Oelhoffen. Gain of 2. 3rd down.
If I had to pick out one thing in this game that has really set it apart, and you talked about Pittsburgh kind of sinking, I don't need any better example than the number of return yards we've seen between interception returns and punt returns and kickoff returns and everything else. The Kansas City Chiefs have found the other ways to beat you today. It hasn't all been offense. It hasn't all been defense. Most of this has been listed under others. And under others, they've absolutely crushed Pittsburgh.
Dante Hall, 100-yard kickoff return, a 45-yard punt return, which set up one of many Kansas City touchdowns today. 3 on the ground by Priest Holmes. Jerome Woods with the interception for a touchdown, but it's been a great day for that man. Dante Hall, a Pro Bowler last season.
Look at that, over 500 yards in a game between these two teams, and Dante Hall has come up with the lion's share of those return yards for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Base defense for the Steelers. Bo Richter on the move. Blaylock in the backfield. 3rd and 2. 4th down, Kansas City's got a punt. They were going for Bo Richter. But you turn the ball over 4 times on the road like Pittsburgh has done today, and it will come back to haunt you. And this was the #1 quarterback after week 1 coming in for Bill Cowher and Tommy Maddox. Today he's thrown 3 picks.
Kevin, stats will tell you, you turn the ball over 4 times in a game, I think you win 8% of the time. And Bill Cowher knows those odds, as do every other coach in this league. And that's fighting upstream against a flood.
Antoine Randall is inside the 25, and Baker to boot it. He's had a good day and gets his high. Randall breaks one tackle of Bo Richter. Breaks a tackle of Blaylock. And is brought down by Corey Harris at about the 32-yard line after a punt of 43 yards.
Scoring summary, this could take a while.
Yep. Chad Scott early on picking up Trent Green. 7 up in Pittsburgh. 100-yard return by Dante Hall, the 2nd longest in Kansas City history. Plexico Burress with a 33-yard touchdown reception. The first of 3 Priest Holmes touchdown runs. That was done, the tight end, with a touchdown reception, and that is an interception by Woods. Number 2 by Priest Holmes right there with a escort around the end. First and 10 for Maddox. Slings a pass to the side, caught by Doran. Third catch today. Picks up 11 yards and has a first down to the Pittsburgh 42-yard line. The Steelers have 2 timeouts, and the clock is at 2:12. When you go back to Pittsburgh, what do you think about this game today, and how do you get ready for next week?
Well, you know, you're looking at sort of doing what you did this week. Hope your offensive line comes together a little bit better, and you work the heck out of your special teams. I guarantee you that.
Plexico Burrows, who has a touchdown reception today, is knocked off balance by Fujita. Gain of 6 up to the 48-yard line. Takes us to the 2-minute warning.
So one thing about that, though, Kevin, most of Pittsburgh's problems were self-inflicted. You can work on those.
And 4 turnovers will do that too.
September 25th.
Well, one of the best stories in the NFL might be right here in Kansas City. They're going to go to 2-0 and head to Houston next week. 2-minute warning with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. 2nd down 4. Steelers in the gun. Receivers platoon, 48-yard line. And here comes Trulock. We did not hear the whistle, and Maddox starts throwing punches, as you saw, and a flag was thrown. Maddox thought he should have stopped, and there might be some validity to that, but Trulock is trying to work his way into that lineup. No excuse, but that's what he did. That kind of feistiness by Maddox, though, is something that I think the Steelers like to see from their quarterback.
Well, it's one thing that makes Tommy Maddox is the attitude and the passion with which he plays.
False start on number 80 of the offense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul on number 8 of the offense. That penalty is accepted. 15 yards. Still 2nd down.
But think of a year ago when Pittsburgh had Cordell Stewart at this time, and there was a debate who should be the starting quarterback, Maddox or Stewart. A year later, Cordell Stewart's in Chicago as the last placed NFC throwing quarterback, and Maddox came into today number 1.
You talk about that particular situation. One of Larry Nemers' job as a referee in this business, though, is to get in there and make sure stuff like that doesn't happen. No excuse for Tommy Maddox. He deserved every bit of that penalty. But all the after the whistle stuff, that's when the referee has to get in there and take control.
5 defensive back, 2nd down 19. Maddox dumps it off. This is Amos Zaraway, Fordham and Faneca and Kendall Simmons with blocks. And behind, he was brought down by Trulock and Hicks. Gain of 12. He's up near the 46-yard line.
Trulock on that last play, you talk about, you know, he's a young pass rusher and whatnot. He was blocked and blocked extremely well by Hines Ward on that last play.
Pittsburgh's had a couple timeouts. 3rd down and 7. Maddox hit by Beisel. And down he goes. That's the 4th Kansas City sack today. Beisel got him first, and Hicks brought him down. Former undrafted player Eric Hicks out of Maryland. A tough day for the Steelers, who jumped off to a 17-7 lead early in the game.
Well, the Steelers are going to struggle as long as this offensive line struggles. Offensive line did not play very well today. You needed a Tommy Maddox as a result.
4th and 9, airing it out, looking for Burris down the side, covered by McLean, and on downs. It'll go back to Kansas City for the final minute of the game. You mentioned turnovers before, Randy, and that's what did in the Pittsburgh Steelers this afternoon at Arrowhead.
By definition, self-inflicted in the way of wounds for a football team in the National Football League. Always, and that's 100% of the time, the self-inflicted wounds are the turnovers. They had him early, they had him in the middle of the game, and they've had him late.
Chiefs will sit on it, and the Chiefs, with this win today, will have their first start of 2-0 to a season dating back to 1996. And they have now won 7 consecutive games at Arrowhead Stadium. That goes back to the 97-98 season.
You see, you know, they started 4-0 that year, and Dick Vermeil's one of those coaches that chops the season up into quarters. He's concentrated on these first 4 games, and he and Carl Peterson there with the sunglasses and the suit and tie next to him know If you can get a team to 3-1 and 4-0, you have a huge chance of making the playoffs. And this has been a great duo. First it was at UCLA, then it was at Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, now back in Kansas City.
One of the great stories going into this, Dick Vermeil, who when coaching the Philadelphia Eagles, cut a young rookie free agent, Bill Cowher, who he just shook hands with right there from North Carolina State. The Dick Vermeil then made a call later that year to Cleveland so the Browns could pick up Cowher the next year. He had a 5-year career in the NFL, but he and Vermeil remained very tight. And the 2-time Coach of the Year in the NFL, Dick Vermeil, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, a 41-20 loss. Kansas City goes to 2-0, Pittsburgh to 1-1. Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Arrowhead Stadium. We take a break, then take you to New York. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.
How do you solve a murder?
Definitely arson.
When the witnesses
You look like him. He's the chief of police.
and the leads
You get a good look at this fella?
He kind of look like you.
all point to you.
You got something you want to tell me?
They set me up.
Denzel Washington,
I'm not running. I need Prince ASAP. You okay?
Just do it!
Out of time. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, October 3rd.
Meet Ray Lewis, playmaker. He's the greatest show on turf and ringleader of a 3-sack circus.
Send in the clown. Better yet, send in the punter.
Think you can improvise and demoralize like Ray?
What you say?
Prove it with Playmaker Control. Only in Madden NFL 2004.
The official game of playmakers.
Rated E for everyone. EA Sports. It's in the game.
What can a Tyrannosaurus Rex teach us about a retirement plan? What's big one day may disappear the next. At Wachovia Securities, we learn from the world around us and provide financial advice for those who need to rebuild. Together, we can achieve uncommon results. Wachovia Securities.
And I'd like to welcome those of you who just watched Pittsburgh and Kansas City back to the NFL Today studios. Jim along with Dan Dion and Boomer as Priest Holmes, 122 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chiefs now 2-0 for the first time since 1996. Coming up next, New England against Philadelphia for most of you. Some will see Denver against San Diego or Cincinnati against Oakland. If you were watching that Kansas City game, the big headline on the day, Jamal Lewis sets the single-game rushing record in the Ravens game against the Browns, 281 yards at last count. We'll continue on CBS in a moment.
Thank you for watching this presentation of the National Football League on CBS Sports, home of Super Bowl 38.
Supermodel Heidi Klum guest stars on the CSI Miami season premiere, Monday, September 22nd.
Sunday Ticket is brought to you by IBM, official information technology partner of the NFL.
In my dream, I'm in a museum.
Executivus obsoletus.
Executivus obsoletus.
He's extinct.
I'm extinct.
His inability to adapt to the rapidly changing business climate proved his downfall.
What does it mean?
You need to adapt fast or perish.
Perish?
Or be acquired.
I'd rather perish.
Let's go see the woolly mammoth.
Move back. Give me the bag. You got to hit the bag harder, son. Get back up and get in line. You can't come at the dummy like that. You gotta act like you want to hit the dummy, son. And everybody else in line, you gotta act like you want to hit the dummy. Get back up. Now hit the bag. Good job. There you go. That's the way you hit the bag.
coming by air and on the ground. Monday Night Football's taking over the town. We gotta get ready, we gotta get right. It's gonna be a battle in the NFL tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night invasion? Yeah, this is Rockin' Randall Hank with a special alert for the nation. Here come the hits, the bangs, the blocks, and the spikes. Cause all my rowdy friends drop in on Monday night. Let it fly, boy. Now they're ready for action across the land. The boys in the trenches, the fans in the stands. Sounds like thunder when they snap the ball. The bat blasts through a hole in the wall. Receivers rocket on down the line. The defense covers its pressure time. The guys with cannons, the way they throw. ABC's got the most explosive show. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party? Yes, sir, this is Hank, and my mission is to get this whole thing started. Get those helmets crashing, the crowd is psyched, cause all my rowdy friends are back for Monday night.